thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Scott Holohan, and I wanted to introduce a couple of the people who are going to lead us through the Pathways webinar here tonight. And for those of you who are on a phone, and I can't control you, so please, if you would, go on mute unless you're ready to speak. We'll have definitely some times for Q&A for this. But let me go ahead and introduce Betty Zweier, who's been our Chief Ambassador for Pathways in the district, and she's a DTM, held many, many positions in her clubs throughout the years, as obviously evident in her DTM. And Kathy is our current Program Quality Director in the district, and she's a great advocate and an inspiration for all Toastmasters. And I can say that she's been instrumental for me to grow as a district assistant, to kind of get me involved and get me indoctrinated into the leadership in Toastmasters, and given me a lot of opportunities to grow. So I'm grateful to introduce Kathy. Kathy's going to be showing some slides here on Pathways, and again, we're really excited that you're here. We've got quite a few people joining, both via the web and via phone. So we'll have some time for Q&A towards the middle or ending part, and I'll turn it over to Kathy.
Thank you, Scott. Wonderful introduction. It's good to be here, and I'm glad you're all here. We put Pathways on the webinar Wednesdays not to replace what the guides were doing with the virtual meetings with their clubs, but just to allow the whole district to come together and have a discussion on Pathways, including guides. And I see that there might be a few here. So we'll get started. And Betty is more of the detailed person. She's further along. She's done a couple of Pathways projects. I've done my assessment. I'm on the visionary communication track, and I've yet to do my icebreaker, but it's coming up here in the next few weeks, and I'm excited to get started. So I'm more the big picture person. I'm going to move the slides along, but don't be surprised if Betty jumps right in. And if you have a question, please jump right in. I want this to be more conversational and less a presentation. We just have the slides to help organize our thoughts and keep us on the same topic so we can get through this efficiently. So welcome aboard. Let's go to the first slide then. We want to make sure that you understand the talking points that were delivered to all the clubs. Some of you may have missed your Pathways presentation by your guide or your ambassador, and that's another reason we're doing this. There's a high value to the Pathways program, and we've looked at the amount of money you contribute. When you first went into Toastmasters, you paid that $20 up front that got you your communication manual and your competent leader manual, and now you get 2 paths, which is a lot more material than what you got with those 2 manuals. So that's just one,
One path.
One path. I'm sorry. You're right. One path. I'm sorry. I'm a dual member, so I got 2 paths. Yeah, I told you Betty would have to correct me. You're right. If you're already a dual member, when Pathways rolled out on February 13th, you got 2. But when you join after that, and you have to join Pathways when you join after that date, then you get 1 path. But still, the one
Kathy,
path is, yeah.
How do people in their second clubs get their second path?
You simply go and get it. And you can do it anytime. You don't have to do it right away. It's good forever.
But you have
So
to
when
call
they go,
you can work 2
when they
paths at
go in
once.
and select it, it won't ask them, because I know one club had said they went in to select the second path, but it wanted them to pay for it. So what do they do in that?
They need to call Toastmasters International.
You have to call TI to order your second one. You can send them an email, but it works better if you just call them directly. It's a lot quicker.
Okay. Do we have that on a question, Betty, or should I put it down here?
It's not in the current presentation, no.
Okay. Does anybody have the phone number?
Look it up real quick.
Okay. And this, Betty started doing this, and I love it. We started just putting the questions here, so we always have them. We're going to go through some of them that we've already.
It's 949-858-8255.
All right. Update. Super. And you all have helped. Okay, it's fun. This is great. I'm on the second bullet. We've already had a good discussion. It is a lot of fun, and it's really cool to compare what other people are doing and talk about it. I think that's happening more with Pathways than it did in the older program. It's customized to your needs. Of course, you do the assessment. You don't have to do the path that they came up with for you. If actually, there's a primary and 2 secondary paths. And the neat thing is, as Pathways rolls out, Toastmasters learned, initially you did have to take that path from your assessment, but people were complaining so much about that they wanted to actually move on to another path, that Toastmasters took that out. So that was good. So by the time it got to us, it's a little bit cleaner. It's the competencies have risen from 68 to 300 plus. There's a list of them out there. There weren't 300 on the list, so I'm hesitant to publish it, but I think we're going to get around to that sometime. It's resource rich, more access to resources via online mechanisms. There's real world applicability. When they did the revitalization program, which turned into Pathways, they wanted to make sure that they sort of steered folks into activities that would help them outside of Toastmasters, which is the whole point, right? You can be a professional Toastmaster, or you can use your Toastmasters outside of Toastmasters, and that's really where we want everybody to head. Meaningful, effective evaluations, and you can store those evaluations and come back to them online, so we can talk about that. Pathways doesn't change the club meeting. These are those cards, and I noticed in the Pathways kits there probably weren't enough cards for some of the larger clubs. I still have some of these cards, but the big point here is that the check marks with the pluses are what Pathways added to your meetings. So I'm going to move on, because we can send those out. If somebody doesn't have one, just send me a note or put it in the chat. These are the 10 paths, and you can see the boxes on the left are the different aspects of the paths, and the boxes here are which of these boxes on the left are in which of the paths. And I mentioned I was doing visionary communication, for example. So there's public speaking, which makes sense. There's strategic leadership, then interpersonal communication, then confidence. Or no, I'm sorry, management. No, confidence. Oh, where's my husband just got home and I was half listening to him. I'm sorry. So management's not in this part of it, because it's talking about visionary communication, not managing people. So if that makes sense. And the number 5, as you can see, is in all of them. It's the confidence to go out and be a visionary communicator is the result of what you do with 1, 3, and 2, if that makes sense. So each of the paths is customized to that topic. And then you've got the 5 levels. Level 1 is the icebreaker, evaluation and feedback, and researching and presenting. And we actually have an incentive now for each club to reach 4 level 1s by June 30th. And right now it is $10 off the 2019 conference registration for each person that does a level 1 by June 30th, which is just this first level. Now, that's as long as you have the club with 4 people that did it. If you only have 3 people that do it, you don't get it. This is a teamwork thing. In addition, we're also giving the $10 to the VPE, who's got to work with these folks to get them scheduled, and the president. And part of the reason we're doing that is because the president and the VPE are the ones that come to the conference for business meetings and to vote on things for the district. So because the president and the VPE are very involved with the Pathways rollout, we felt that that was a team thing. So a minimum of $60. And I'm going to share something with you right now, where we stand on the district on that. I'm going to switch the screen to an Excel spreadsheet. And here you can see the folks that have gotten Pathways awards already. And we rolled out just barely 2 months ago. Barb Frederick, Mark Rawls, Kevin Voorhees, and Arlene. Arlene is actually had started in China. She became a member of a virtual club in China so that she could start Pathways when they rolled out, which was before District 40. And so she's well on her way, and she's going to have her first path completed. And so she and Betty are going to be speaking together at the conference next month. So that's going to be very exciting. She's going to be able to tell you about what all she did for her Pathways. As you can see, Springdale Communicators only has 2 more level 1s, and they've got their award. Midway's well on their way to getting an award. And we've also got an award that we are doing for people who go past level 1. If you go past level 1 and get one of these, we're going to give you a second $10. Now, we're not going to give you $50 if you go to level 5. We only have so much money in the district and we have to spend it wisely. But if you get a level 1 and a level 2, you'll get $20 off. And if you're a president or a VPE and your club gets 4 and you happen to be one that get the 4, you get $20. Your club still gets the award. So did all that make sense? In fact, I've got a flyer where I'm going to share with you that.
So just to make sure that I understand, Kathy, the 4 people who get the level 1 are getting the $10 each plus the VPE and president. So $60
Correct.
Total.
$60 total. You have to have 4 people do it. If you have 3 people that do it, no dice.
Right.
You have to, and this is a challenge. Balraj, our international president, actually tweeted this morning, and it was funny, that no challenge is worthwhile unless it's hard to do. And some folks have even sent me an email when I shared this with the guides and the district executive committee once the trio approved the incentive. And they said, wow, can we do it? Well, if you look at the level 1, there's 3 activities in there. There's 3 meetings. And I think that's very doable between now and the end of the year. If you have a lot of people who want to get the $10, let's say 10 people raise their hand and say, hey, I want the incentive. Have an extra meeting. We've done that before. A lot of VPEs, in order to help folks meet their goals and their timelines, and that could include leaving Toastmasters. It could be they just joined for a year because that's all they could do with their job or with their family life or whatever. And they want to get as much possible before they leave the organization, or they want to get something done before they move on to their next role so that they can focus on the role. There's always been, reasons for individual schedules to be woven into the total program of the club. And that's very important that we continue to do that. So that's what we're encouraging here, is for clubs to get in the habit of taking the goals of the individual members into account and working that into the program and making that actually be the program, if that makes sense. So we're real excited about this. And,
Kathy?
Yeah.
Is the VPE and the president excluded as from one of the 4, or are they also, can they be included?
They can be
they're
included.
one of the 4, they'll get the $10 for being one of the 4 and the $10 for the club?
Right.
President
So,
and VP?
yeah, is that Lavinia?
Yes.
I thought I recognized your voice. Yes, and you as president of the newly formed Reynoldsburg Toastmasters Club, you can.
No, I'm not president of Reynoldsburg.
President.
No.
Oh, your sponsor. Who's the president?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, anyway, let's say whoever the president of Reynoldsburg Toastmaster is, they're one of the 4, then they get $20.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure I can answer that question. I'm sure I'm going to get it.
Right. So it can be the president and 3 other people. It can be the president and the VPE and 2 other people. As long as 4 people, 4 members, it doesn't matter what officer role those 4 members are. As long as 4 members got that. And there's also a sneaky reason why I'm doing that, is because if you have 4 people in your club got level 1, you've got a DCP point.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh. And part of the reason why we wanted to do that too is because some folks are doing the old, but some of the newer members are doing the new. It builds some excitement around the new members who can only do pathways, but it also gives the club incentive for stretching themselves and getting that DCP point from level ones instead of the CCs. You know, so it helps them do a clear break. I'm going to be back for just a second because I am going to close the door.
Kathy, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I registered for Pathways. I'm the 4th member in our club, and I didn't get any confirmation. How do I go by? Do I have Pathways? Do I have level 1?
I'm not sure what you mean by do you have level 1?
Isn't it free? The first level is free and the rest of the levels we pay for?
No, the whole path is free.
Okay. The whole path is free?
The first one.
Yes.
Okay.
Within a
levels.
path, there's 5 levels. Within a path, there's 5 levels.
Okay.
Right. So the first path is free. Now I'm going to go back a slide to the paths. There's 10 of them. So you pick one of these is free. Then the next path you do is $20. Each path,
Okay.
each additional path is $20. That make sense?
Yes. See, I took a little questionnaire and I filled up. It came back, and now am I going to do the icebreaker or I'm going to do whatever they suggest? What would be my first speech?
Did you pick which path you want to do?
No, it was not. It was very confusing. But today, when I tried to go in and see, I could not.
Are you at your computer?
Yes.
Scott, could we look at her computer and could you pull it up so we could see what you're doing and Betty can help you?
Sure. Let's see. Mano?
Yes.
Would you like to, are you in a position where you're in the Toastmasters website right now?
No, Toastmaster, I tried to go, but it said you cannot enter the website. Something is going on.
Oh.
www.toastmasters.
Maybe they're doing some maintenance tonight.
national.org.
Oh, rats. This would have been a good opportunity for everyone to see Betty help you get to the next point. What?
Yeah.
Scott, let's mark down that we need to get with Mono and we'll find out who her guide is.
Yep.
What's your main club, Mono, that you're doing your Toastmasters pathways in?
Springfield Toastmasters Club.
Springfield?
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
All righty. We'll get you covered. The evaluations can be online or you can print them and do them on paper. We've got some clubs, like the prison clubs, that are just printing everything and doing everything on paper. And that's fine. If you've got folks that are computer illiterate, the joke is even Jim Vogeley's doing pathways because he's told everybody for years he hates computers. So if he can do it, everyone can do it. We'll help you figure out a way. If folks are uncomfortable with the computer, just let your guide know and they'll help you figure out how to get the data that you need. The badges and awards sort of reminds me of Boy Scouts. And the nifty thing about this is that you can give each other badges. We used to do this at work. We had little stickies and it was called I Got Caught. And the people who got caught were written a little thank you note. Thank you for doing this for me. Thank you for that. It was a way to support each other for everybody being supportive. And the Pathways has this program where you can give that to other folks, but we're not really in District 40 talking about the badges a lot. We're mentioning it. We think it's a really cool thing, but we think just getting your feet wet and getting to level 1 is all we want everybody focused on right now. As my husband says, Kathy, you can only do one thing at a time. I'm a multitasker, but I've learned that some things are not good to multitask on. And
Sure.
the levels here, here's level 1, level 2, 3, 4, and 5 for this particular. And the last badge will tell you what the actual path was. If you remember back to these paths, that one was the dynamic leadership badge right here.
Yeah, Kathy, I missed something. I was, I got disconnected, so I'm back.
Oh, okay. We just talked about the badges real quick.
Okay.
Nothing that important.
You know, now, tomorrow I have an icebreaker. Can I go give it, or I should hold on?
No, you can go ahead and give it. Do you know what you're supposed to do on the icebreaker, though?
No, I was going to find out from you today.
Okay. Which path are you selecting? Because the icebreakers are for each path.
Same for all paths. You can get the Icebreaker project off of the main Toastmasters.org page. You don't even have to log in to get that project if you're having trouble inside Pathways. You can get all the Icebreaker information off the main page.
Okay. So do I have to carry my computer all the time to the meeting?
No, no. The only thing you need your computer for is to look up what your projects are. It's entirely up to you if you want to upload your evaluations. Evaluations don't have to be done online at all. They're meant to be written in.
Okay, so we evaluate on a paper and then we upload that information.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Cool. You see why Betty's around? She's got the details. Okay. The Pathways Mentor Program. This is when you get further on into Pathways, and we're suggesting that one club work towards being a mentor eventually. And it goes back to we can't start everywhere at once. We're just starting out. So if somebody's going to do the mentor thing, though, I'd really love to know.
Kathy, Arlen has done that. Arlen has done the Complete Mentor Program. So she'll share that too at the conference.
Yeah. I saw that, and she got that on 4/16. So she just got it 2 days ago. That is so cool. All right. Distinguished Club Program. Now that we are in the interim, anytime between February 13th and June 30th, 2020, this is the new Distinguished Club Program. You select 6 of the 12 goals. So you can do 2 CCs and then 2 level 2s, and you've got 2 points. Or you can do everything in Pathways and get the points. Or you can do everything in the old program, which I hope clubs start going over here to the right column. But any combination. So you remember when, the 2 CCs and the CLs were all you could do. You still can't double up. Like I can't do 2 CCs, 2 more CCs, and then a third 2 more CCs. It's still each one of these. And they've updated the website now. It's been a gradual process, I've noticed, over the last couple of months, but more and more of the things that we're seeing have all of this in it. And if you're using Free Toast Host, you should be seeing all the paths as well as all of the CC and CL activities to choose from for when you're signing up for a role for your meeting. And for the dashboard for your club, you'll see all of these now. We didn't see that before. So it's really exciting to see that the pathways being integrated into everything that we've already been doing. The rollout status, we've got most of all of our clubs visited. We have a few clubs that need visits, and I had the question marks here and here because I just pulled the slide over from a guide meeting I had. We're almost there. We do have a couple of clubs that we haven't visited yet, and that was because of scheduling issues. The virtual club sessions are scheduled, and we're not seeing a lot of folks attending those, as an aside. And we think it's because folks aren't really actively engaged in it. They're still finishing up their current projects. So we anticipate that folks will start getting into pathways in the June, July time period, and all the guides are appointed through the end of June. And so Betty and I are talking about how we can support everyone beyond June 30th. And we'll figure that out. But if you have any suggestions, let us know. We got to figure that out soon and then announce how everybody's going to get support. I don't know, Betty, if you've had any more thoughts on it that you want to share or run by these folks to get some feedback. Betty?
I had to unmute myself. I was responding to somebody in the chat, so I didn't hear what you were talking about.
Sorry. Do you have any thoughts yet about how we'll support folks after June 30th this year for Pathways questions?
Well, I just always say, you know, I'm in it until I die, so you can always call me.
Okay. We'll have Betty Swear be the person you call for Pathways questions. She'll be the Pathways counselor.
I know I'm not the only one that loves it, so no, I haven't thought formally what we might do, but
okay,
we'll do something.
Maybe we could have a person per division or something.
You know, yeah, we'll figure out some kind of committee or some sort of support team.
Yeah, I think it needs to be a team because there's 3,700 of us, and if we all call you, your phone bill's gonna go up.
Well, I really might die. Who knows? It needs to be more than me.
Okay, we'll figure that out. And if anybody of you on the phone want to volunteer for that, see Betty. D40 compatriots, that's our term. They give badges to each other's. I mentioned that badges aren't that important right now, as everybody doing their icebreaker, selecting their path. Those are the first couple of steps, and then finishing their level 1 before the year is out. But as you notice other people doing things, start thinking about who you might like to give a badge to. It makes it easier, I think, to research how to give a badge and give one if you already have someone in mind and something that they did that you would like to give them a badge for, if that makes sense. If you're just going in to look for it, it's not going to be as meaningful or as memorable as if you have a mission in mind when you go to figure out those badges. Okay. Offer valid through July 31st. You get 50% off for up to 20 pathway pins. So this is one way that clubs can get some pins for their members and give them a pathway pin. I know that the first 3 pins that went out with the kits went to the first 3 people that did their assessment. I would love to see clubs start giving pins for reaching level 1, that kind of thing. And then when you wear your pathways pins at work or church or wherever you go, you can let everybody know what it is and introduce them to Toastmasters. So anyway, offer valid through June 31st. And I'm going to put that in the chat. So it's toastmasters.org/5880 for those of you guys who know how to cut and paste from the chat into your PC.
It actually
Kathy,
says,
you said June 30th. Is it June 30th or July 31st? On the flyer it says 31st, but you verbally just said 30th.
Oh, it's July 31st. I copied this directly out of the thing. You're right. My brain was in June 30 mode for the deadline for the 4 level 1s. Thank you. It's July 31st. And the promo code is START. And there you go. Okay. There you go. Okay. So Betty's Ware, she's our chief ambassador. Just to give you a little bit of history, she had 21 ambassadors each assigned to a club. We got 23 guides, and simply we needed more guides because we added some clubs to the district, which was really cool. And we do have support on the D40 website. And there's also support if you go to the TI website and just search for pathways. There's a lot of support. So these D40 frequently asked questions, we'll send those to Michael Pope when we're done tonight, and he'll update that so he can see what you're asking. Our thought about doing that and doing the extra work to post those for you is because if you're asking the questions to us, then evidently you're not finding it anywhere, and we want to make sure folks find it. And they don't need to wait for the next webinar Wednesday. For the club VPEs, what we're suggesting is during the rest of the year that they find the next year's VPE early, do elections. They should be done by the first meeting in May, because June 1st starts the training for the new officers, and they need to be elected and find out when the training is so they can schedule some time during the summer to get to that all-important club officer training. And we're suggesting that the VPEs have the new VPE help them out with base camp so that there isn't any, so that it's seamless. There isn't any break in service for the club. And we'll probably continue the webinar Wednesdays. They've been pretty popular, and we'll stick pathways in there. I just don't know how often yet. Okay, back to the frequently asked questions. Betty, do you want to go through this section?
Sure. These came up since the last Wednesday webinar. So all the questions that were in here previously have been moved onto the website. This was a question from, I think, down in the Bluegrass Division. Somebody wondered, once an external training request had been approved, was there any way to take it back? And no, there isn't, which I actually ran into this same issue myself. I got approval for a speech, and then I decided not to give it, that I was going to give another speech. And it's no big deal. It just hangs out there as not approved, and you submit a new one.
There are no dings for unapproved requests.
Yeah, well, there are no dings, but this is not an unapproved request. This is a request that was approved, and then you changed your mind about what you were going to do.
Right. So what do we call it? It's not unapproved. Then what is it? It's
I would call it discarded, or not. You know, it's just not relevant. It doesn't matter. You know, it's been approved, but you're not going to do it, so no biggie. What I did, I decided to give a different speech. When I requested approval for the second speech, I mentioned that I was giving that one instead of the original one, just so there's kind of a record, especially if you're going to be changing VPEs, base camp managers. It's nice for them to have that history. When it comes time to approve you for completing a level, then they don't have to go back through, and that people don't have to try to remember what happened. You've got a nice history there.
okay. Cool. Any questions on that one? Okay, the next one.
This was a simple one that somebody couldn't access the member's profile to give them some feedback. The way you give feedback is once you're logged into Basecamp, up in search, you type the person's name. And if you're typing a member's name and it's not showing up, it's because they have not taken their assessment and enrolled in Pathways yet.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Kathy, you might want to do this one. I think that was a question that came through you.
Okay. How to order a second path. That's one that just came up tonight.
Sure.
So the next three came up tonight. We've already been through those. Let's go to some tips. Betty's best tip.
Oh my gosh, this is the best website in the world. If you have not chosen a path yet, or if you haven't chosen your second path yet, visit this website. you can find everything that you need to know from this website. They've broken down every single path, and then you can choose the path. It will show you every level, every project that's required in every level, every elective. It's so detailed. It's way more than TI has on their website, and it's very nicely organized. I'm really impressed with District 4. So I've been sharing this with everybody I can, and highly encourage you to check it out before you choose a path.
Okay, and I put that in the web chat. Tips from the guides.
I had to put a plug in for us there.
Yes, you did.
We will be doing a session. Kathy mentioned earlier, Beleen, Arlen, and I will be doing a session at the conference. And we're also going to have a table in the lobby where we will offer one-on-one assistance. Now, we're not going to have it manned 24/7 because we want to enjoy the conference too. But we'll be out there when we can. Either one of us or multiples. If you want to bring your own laptop or tablet, that's great. We'll have some too. And we'll try to help as many people as we can.
Yeah, that makes sense. Bring your PC or laptop, and then you've got, your notes right there where you'll be working. Okay. And here's the contact. So you send an email to your guide with the question, being complete as possible, and then copy Betty's where, because she may need to get involved with the guide. A lot of times she calls Toastmasters International to clarify the question and the answer, and then that way she's collecting them and putting them out here in the frequently asked questions for us. So we're at the Q&A point.
No, I'm listening.
What else do you guys need to know?
It's Toastmasters. It's the new program. It's called Pathways.
Somebody telling their wife what they're doing? That's great.
Kathy?
Okay, what are the things you need to know?
Kathy?
Yeah.
This is Yuqian from Bearcat Toastmasters. Could you please show me where I can find a mentor program?
A mentor program for the club in general?
Do you have a question?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and do you want a mentor specific to Pathways or just a mentor in general?
The new mentor program, I could not find it from my pathway.
Oh.
Can somebody show me from the TI, so where I can find it?
Betty, when are you allowed to get into the mentoring?
Everybody has the introduction to mentoring on level 2, and after that, then there are electives in levels 3, 4, and 5 that you can take if you want.
Oh, what I try to do is as a VP education, I want to show our club members this is the new mentor program. Yeah, that's my purpose. So we can start the new way of doing things. But I could not find the material.
Yeah, you can look in tutorials and resources. There will be some things there about mentoring.
I try, but I could not find it in English. Even I
Betty,
could not.
Do you need to share screen?
I'm looking, Yu-Chin.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
And it's hard to have a mentor when everybody is so new. That's why we're really encouraging all the clubs to have at least 4 people jumpstart and get to level 1, and then those same 4 people should be barreling, not quickly, so they should be getting things out of it, but they should be going on and getting to level 5 and then turning around and helping everyone else. So.
Yeah, and you can, it's there, advanced mentoring, project description, and evaluation resources. Just for the first one, it doesn't say English, it doesn't say any language at all.
Okay, so that means that did you log in as a member or as a Basecamp manager?
I believe I'm in here as a guide, but it doesn't matter. I see the same tutorials and resources.
Can you click on your address, Betty, and copy and paste it into the chat? See if she can get there.
She won't be able to do it because I'm logged in. You can't.
Okay, let me.
It'll ask you to log in. If you get a URL that's down below the log, you'll log in and then it should take her to that page. So it should be working.
I mean, all I did was go to tutorials and resources. That's the page I'm on. You just got to keep scrolling down. I'm still scrolling. I mean, that was advanced mentoring. I'm only in the E, so I'm still looking for mentoring.
Okay. Thanks, Yuchin. How's everybody doing down there in Bearcat Land? Are folks signing up?
No, Kathy. Hi.
Hi.
Did you mean that we have to go to the level 2 in order to be a mentor? Or I can just go ahead to show our started the mentor program for asking the mentor to follow the new program?
That's why I was asking if you were talking about mentoring in general or mentoring as it's built into Pathways. If you want a mentoring program for your club, I can send you several examples. And mentoring in your club right now consists of 2 programs, the existing program and the new program. And you can have a mentor that is not well versed in the new program, and here's how we're suggesting, especially the new clubs that only have Pathways. Here's what we're suggesting. We suggest that you pair people up and they're accountability partners. So if nobody in your club has level 1 and you have 4 people that are going for level 1 to get this incentive, I would have 2 people paired up and then the other 2 people paired up. And those accountability partners share with each other their plans to get their level 1. And then the one person holds the other accountable for getting it done. That's the best way to have some sort of mentoring. And you have the important thing is to have the conversation and the comfort level and the partnership and the camaraderie and the comfort that you've got some support. Whether they are a subject matter expert or not, that is less material in a mentoring situation if you've ever studied mentoring.
Okay, yeah. So how about as a VP education, I'd like to introduce, show people this is a new program. Do we have information? Are you going to
I can send it to you.
Okay.
I can send it to you. I will make a note to send it to you. And who's your VPE?
I am the VPE.
You are the VPE? Okay. I would have found that out.
Okay.
Okay, I will send information. And
Kathy,
yeah.
this is Imelda. Could you please copy me also? Thank you.
Sure. Who was that?
I'm Imelda with Bearcat Toastmasters also.
Oh, hi, Imelda.
Kathy, can
Okay,
I
you know what? I'm just going to send it to everybody in the call because Scott has all of your information. If you want to make it easy on us, you can put your email address in the chat. Otherwise, I have to look it up. And I have a lot of stuff to do. I'd rather not have to look it up. So since you're here, if you can, put your email address you want me to send this to. If you have a work address that's going to reject links, I may have some links in the material, so give me your home email address if you wouldn't mind, please. Okay, yeah, mentoring programs. I've set up mentoring programs. I had a mentoring team. When I was a VPE, I had 4 other people on my education and training team for my club, and we discussed the mentoring program. We built it. We had a spreadsheet, and anytime the club had a lot of new people, we had a challenge because each of the mentors had 3 and 4 people to mentor, and we wanted to make sure our mentors weren't overloaded. So I think that there's a balance. You need to constantly look at your club mixture and pair people up. And so my recommendation, you know, for having accountability partners is the answer to when your club has had a really strong membership drive and you've got a lot of people, you pair them up. And then if the 2 people who are paired up don't have the answer and they can't find it, then one of them can go to a mentor, and then that's 1 person going to the mentor instead of 2. So you've just taken... What? Who's that? Okay, somebody needs to go on mute. So that takes your mentoring activities, cuts them in half, which is, you'd rather work a half hour than an hour on it, I'm sure, if you get the drift. Oh, okay.
Kathy, can I?
What other questions?
Can I switch and share my screen for a second, and I can show them where to find that?
Yeah, Scott, can you switch to Betty, please? Thanks.
Can I just click on the screen thing myself?
I can see Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring.
All righty. So all I did was click on tutorials and resources, Yu-Chen.
For some reason, I just could not see it, but I will try again. Yeah.
Okay. So it's under, I mean, don't just look for mentoring. You see it's under introduction. And look at, hold your cursor over it so you can see. This one just says.
You can't see the top of your screen. We can't see the top because it's at the bottom.
That's at the bottom. Okay.
Yeah, move.
Am I going the right way?
No, go the other way.
Go the other way.
Well,
it would be helpful to see the URL address.
Yeah, copy the URL address into the chat. That'll help.
Again, you just go in and click on tutorials and resources. There is no real URL address. Just go in Basecamp, click on tutorials and resources, and scroll down.
Okay.
Okay. Can you see now? You see where my cursor is now?
I saw you have so many manuals there, and I will try again. Thank you,
These are just
Betty.
all the things available in tutorials. I'm just showing you that it will show you the language there. See, this one's Arabic. So choose the one that doesn't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because that'll be your English.
Okay, let me try to see here.
You want the one that says project description, period.
Okay, I'm going to retype the...
Yeah, somehow I just could not get it. I don't understand.
Well, come on over to the Meet EPA, Yu-Chen. We'll go over it.
Okay. Yeah.
Ah!
Can someone remotely come to my screen and click and to see my problem?
Say that again?
Can someone remotely click on my screen and to see what I told you, the problem that I cannot see it? Yeah.
Yu-Chen, I'm going to make you presenter, so go ahead and share.
Okay, share. Thank
Up in
you.
the upper right corner there in the middle, should share your screen.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I click on the tutorials and the resources, and I did not see anything.
No,
Oh.
see that box that drops down? That's what you have to click on.
Where is the one?
Put the cursor over top of it again, and you'll see where it drops down and says tutorials and resources. Go back over there. See, you have to click on the part that drops down, not the red part. Drop it. There you go.
Heck, it's only got one choice. They shouldn't have a drop down.
I know,
That
it's
doesn't make
insane.
sense.
Oh, that is silly.
Yeah, that's the key. That's the key. Why? I'm so happy now. I clicked many times, but did not click on the drop down.
Yeah, that's not very good usability design there.
Great. Yeah, this is great. Yeah. Yeah. Very good.
It's so simple.
It was worth waiting through 45 minutes of discussion to get that.
Thanks a lot to everybody, like Scott, Kathy, and Betty. This is saved me a lot of time.
And frustration, I can tell.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So, what do you want me to go back to you, Betty, or to you, Kathy?
To Kathy.
Yeah, go back to me because I'm sitting here. I'm adding this as a frequently asked question.
All right.
I was just going to say,
sent the ball back to you.
My webinar, I've seen them do the same thing. So,
not the words tutorials and resources on the
on the menu bar.
On the red line.
Yeah, the red line of the menu. Menu bar.
Menu line. Menu bar. Thanks.
Yep.
Okay. I put the answer in the question. I was so excited about the answer. It's like a guy, what's that guy with the turban on his head? And he puts the envelope and he gives you the answer. And then he tears open the envelope and reads the questions. The great Houdini.
Right, Carlin.
I can't get to the tutorials for mentoring. I'm just going to do a salute to Yu Chin and say she was looking for mentoring. Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else we can help with? This is great.
Yeah, we have about 5 or 6 minutes left, so if there's any questions. I know there was a lot of questions in the chat box there. Imelda, did you get all yours resolved?
I think Betty's trying to answer me.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
sorry, I got stuck there.
Thank you, Betty, for doing that on the side. I know she's been having quite a few questions.
I see Fred is on the phone, but I don't see where he can talk. I don't know if he can type. I was wondering if you went to OCLC.
That's why.
Hi, Fred.
Hi. Did you go to OCLC today?
Yeah, I did.
How are they doing?
Oh, they're slowly progressing.
Is anybody signed up for Pathways yet? I was going to go and I couldn't at the last minute. I had to do something for the district.
We've got a couple of new members that automatically puts them on Pathways, but as far as the old members, no.
Okay. So when you
OCLC picked up about a couple of members in the last few weeks after the 13th.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Are they up to 18 now?
Well, they're up to well, here's the deal. They're up to 18, but they don't have 5 goals yet.
Okay. Well, here's what they can do. They can get a goal by having 4 people complete their first level 1s.
And get $10 a piece.
And get $10 a piece. And John and I can't remember the VPE. Is that
Abhishek?
Okay, Anjay. That's what I was thinking.
Abhishek. Abhi for short.
Abhishek.
Yeah, Abhishek.
I like him.
Abhishek, he goes by Abhi.
Yeah, Abhi. So those 2 would get the $10.
$60. That's
yeah.
$60? Yeah, and it could be 70 if 5 people do it, or it could be 80.
Wow. So it could. So they don't they cap it at 4 then.
No,
Cap
I
it at
don't
4 for the goal, but
Uh-uh.
for monetarily, you can get. If you get 5, you get 50, 6, 60, 7, 70. Is that how you do it? Plus the 2 officers.
Yep.
Wow.
It says for every club that registers at least 4 members, level 1. Then it says in italics, each of the members receiving the level 1 will receive, I'm going to say a level 1 instead of the level 1. A level 1 will receive $10 each. So that's a minimum of 60 for your club. I'm going to put comma, but it could go higher depending upon how many reach level 1. Okay. Thanks. I'm going to make that real specific. Thanks, Scott.
Okay. Well, while you're talking to me, Kathy, I do have one question.
Okay.
There's a section within Pathways that I found out playing around with it, to which you would give yourself the credit for roles of Toastmaster, Timer, Topics Master, Evaluator. The question happens to be, since I'm doing 2 paths for 2 different clubs, is this role bit per person or per club?
Per
Patty,
person.
do you know?
Yes, per person. Anything in your profile stays with you no matter which club you're logged in at. And that's really just for your own personal history anyway. It's only your most recent. It only stores the most recent time that you served in that role.
Well, yeah, okay, well, that's true. I mean, I've actually opened up Pathways, partly because I'm so close to AC. I can't order manuals anyway.
Okay. Good question.
Okay, then I'll follow up. Is that just per person regardless of number of paths, or is it you have to repeat it per path?
Have to repeat.
I mean, I finish 1 path.
Okay.
And do all the roles. I do another path. Do I have to update this again, or can I just leave it alone?
You can leave it alone. You don't have to do anything, and that's entirely up to you if you put anything in your profile.
Okay.
Nobody looks at that but you.
So the second path will require it to be done again?
The second path is, yeah, exactly like the first path as far as having to serve as Toastmaster, Table Topics Master, and Evaluator.
Okay.
But other roles is just, you know, that's up to you if you track that.
Okay. Good question, Fred. I'm learning every time I come to these. I learn so much from Betty.
So this is again. Does this mean that if you are not able to do all those roles while you are on the level, on particular level, that you will not be awarded that level?
Oh, if you do the role before you're on the level that requires it, will you get credit for it? Is that the question?
That's one. The other thing is if you're not able to do it and you're with all the other speeches and the feedback evaluation, then you cannot be awarded level 1. Can you be?
You're only required to serve in 3 roles, Imelda. Toastmaster, Table Topics Master, and a Speech Evaluator. Now, the Speech Evaluator is specifically required in level 1. It's part of the evaluation and feedback project. That you serve as an evaluator and you get a written evaluation on being an evaluator. You can choose in level 3, one of the electives is active listening, and the only requirement for that is serving as Table Topics Master. So, you know, that's one way to kill two birds with one stone. I have not yet found where Toastmaster is required for anything. I just know you have to serve it sometime within the first 3 levels.
Okay, sometime between the first 3 levels. So it doesn't have to be level 1. So if you have not done any of those roles, but you're finished with the project, then you can still be awarded level 1.
Right. The only one that's required in level 1 is the speech evaluator.
Okay, we're at 9:30 here. I wanted to just wrap up. I know, Kathy, you're still typing there, so I'll let you do that. But while you're typing there, I just wanted to thank everybody for coming tonight. I think it's been a very valuable thing. I wanted to review the actions. I know we were going to get with Mono and her pathways guide to make sure that she's clear on how to select the path. Was there any other actions that we need to follow up with? Okay, sounds like we're pretty clear then. We just have one with Mono. We'll get with you. I'm not sure if she's still there, but well, first of all, I wanted to thank Betty and Kathy. Do you have any last-minute remarks that you'd like to make before we close the call?
Just let everybody know that these pathway webinars are here if they have questions, and have them go to their guide if they have questions. That's the fastest way to get questions and talk up the incentive. I think it's a really great program. It helps people focus and get a timeline together for pathways. It's so much easier to get something done if you have a date. I know we all wouldn't do our taxes unless somebody poked April 15th at us. So it's important, I think, to spread the word and let them know that we've got some fabulous people that are here to support them, and if they have anything that might even hint of, oh, I just can't do this pathways thing, I'm going to leave Toastmasters, have them talk to the VPE and the VPM and the pathways guide. Let's get them help. We don't want folks fumbling around and being discouraged. That's the big thing.
Thank you, Kathy.
We can probably stop recording then when you're ready, Scott.
Okay. Thank you
Betty,
again for your time, and we'll make. Yeah, go ahead, Betty.
I know. I just wanted to say I hope I got everybody's answers in the chat room. If I missed anything, feel free to email me.
Excellent. Well, thanks again so much. We'll stop recording here right now, but we'll make this recording available for others who may have missed it. So talk it up with your fellow Toastmasters, and we'll get this out to you here in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Thanks,
Thanks
Scott.
everybody
Thanks so much
for joining,
for
and
your,
we'll talk to you later.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Good night.
Bye for now.
Hey, Kathy.
Bye, Betty.
Bye.